Babyteeth, new Australian indie drama starring Eliza Scanlon, Toby Wallace, Ben Mendelsohn, and Essie Davis. It's been released on several festivals last year to a pretty universal critical acclaim, but it's only starting to get theatrical releases now. I would compare it to movies like Lady Bird, only Babyteeth is much more raw and honest and has more bite. At the beginning of the film, a teenage girl named Milla meets a boy named Moses. She comes from a well off family, goes to a girl only school, plays the violin, the model student. He lives seemingly on the street, has face tattoos, he was thrown out of the house by his mom, he takes drugs, he makes money in shady ways. But there is a spark of chemistry between the two of them, and they immediately hit it off. Milla's parents clearly do not approve of the boy, especially as he is much older than Milla, but they do reluctantly accept the forming relationship. For one reason, and one reason only. Milla, as it turns out, is a cancer patient, and soon after the movie starts, she goes into remission, has to undergo chemo again. So her parents try to make her life basically as pleasant as possible, with the looming risk that life will soon cease to be at all. And that isn't very easy for them. And, they're both portrayed as complicated people. Henry, the father, is frustrated with the way his relationship with Anna, the mother, looks like. Anna, on the other hand, has mental issues of her own, takes meds that influence her behavior. And so this dance of four different characters begins. A dance which will change their relationships and help Milla grow and come of age. So, as I said in the beginning, I saw similarities to movies like Lady Bird. We have a teenage girl that is on the verge of becoming a woman, dealing with everything that comes with it, arguments with parents, infatuation with boys, often the wrong kind, and that basically just that urge to become your own person. Here, all these things are thrown onto that canvas of impending tragedy. Milla's cancer looms constantly in the background and impacts the tone of the film. Even though it stays optimistic and sort of whimsical throughout, there are constant reminders that this optimism may be unfounded. I have to say, I've really, really liked Babyteeth. I think it's incredibly wise and mature in its portrayal of very often immaturity. It tells a gripping story in a fleeting way, as this collection of vignettes from the life of Milla and her family. It feels real and raw and unfiltered, so to speak. I think one large part of that is the script, obviously, which is excellent, but it truly comes to life thanks to the performances. All four of the main cast embody their characters fully, and the characters themselves are complex and well written. None of them is one dimensional. They're all flawed. They all have their own desires and wants and needs, but also problems. For each of them, there are moments where you sympathize with them, where you feel for them, when you pity them, and also when you understand them. And so, by extension, the entire film is heartfelt and touching, but also quite melancholic. I think it's also a rare example of a film that gets progressively better the longer it goes on. At the beginning, I didn't really get into it emotionally straight away, but then as I got to know the characters, I wanted to stay in their company for as long as possible. But the end inevitably comes, and it is quite a powerful ending. There's a scene that happens on the beach. It's one of the last sequences in the film, and without spoiling anything, Ben Mendelsohn gives a powerhouse performance in a short scene without really speaking too much or even at all. Just through his face and his whole demeanor, you just you know what's going on in his head and in his heart at that moment. A truly heartrending moment. So, Babyteeth, an excellent coming of age story that shows how optimism and happiness can be found and preserved even in the bleakest of times and circumstances. Do not miss it.